I am the greatest.
Be water, my friend.
Welcome to the One Hit Podcast, Paddy. So we had a fellow Belfast man on the last episode, and he told me he was the best boxer in Belfast. I'm sure you have something to say. His name is Tommy McCarthy. So he said he was the biggest and best boxer in Belfast. So I think you might have something.
He may be the biggest.
Hey, that's what I said to him. I said to him he's the biggest anyhow. He mightn't be the best, but he's the biggest. So just for most of our listeners probably know already who you are, but we've a lot of listeners in America, like Paddy Barnes, Olympian, professional boxer. Like we watched you growing up. Like when I was growing up, it was always in the house. We were seeing how Paddy's getting on back in 2007, 2008, whenever we sort of knew who we were at my household. And since then, we've been fans of you. So it was a pleasure to have you on and to hear your story. And like, how did you get into boxing? Was always a thing in your area? Was it boxing, or were you just brought to it?
To be honest, like what happened was basically I was playing football in the street. My friends boxed, and I remember it was a Wednesday night. And it was raining, so fuck it, I ain't down my mate's house. I was in the club with mates. And I remember joining the Wednesday, and the coach asked me to fight that Sunday. I had never boxed in my life. You know, I had no problem. I went, I obviously lost, but at that time as well, I used to go down to my cousins and County Down every weekend, and they had a club down there. So I decided to join boxing. So I would train at the weekends just down at my cousins because I was there anyway. And basically, I only started boxing to fit in with my mates. Not my mates, sorry, because my cousins were boxing. So basically, just to fit in, just do cowboy Evans. That's the really reason I done it, and why I stuck at it for.
And like you think back then, that's fast forward 20 odd years later, like you'd be retired professional boxer and Olympian. Like it's strange how it happens, isn't it?
It's crazy, like it's just things just meant to be. Like, and I remember as a kid, my ultimate dream was not even to fight, not even to win the All-Irelands, but to fight in Dublin in the national arena. That was always my dream. And once I got there, and once I won the All-Irelands, I thought I was the world champion. And from there, I kept putting myself certain smaller targets. Like there was a 4 Nations Championship out there, and I was hopeful like breaking on the Irish team and hopeful like getting the Europeans, get the World Championships. Like they were all small targets I set myself, and fast as I got older and got more experience and got a bit better, they all happened.
Brilliant. Because you mentioned there about like fighting in Dublin, like you're a proud Irishman, and it shows every time when you tricolour around your back. Like, how does it feel representing your country, especially 2008, whenever sort of you weren't in for the chance to go to the qualifiers, and you went there and you showed your worthy, and you went to the Olympics in Beijing and getting the bronze and having the tricolour on the podium? It must be a great feeling.
Unbelievable. You speak about representing your country. Like I remember when I qualified for the Beijing Olympics, like I didn't really understand what the Olympics were. I didn't really know what to, because for me, like the Olympics obviously are on every boxer's radar, but for me, it was always like the World Championships. I always wanted to go to the World Championships and become world champion. But going to the Olympics, getting a medal, coming home, like I realized there that how much it meant to the country, representing the country and winning for the country, and how much it meant to people back home. So then I kind of like, you could say, got addicted to like trying to do well for the country, because coming back home, people from Belfast to Cork, like they're cheering you on and they want you to do so well.
Brilliant. Like especially in Belfast, you mentioned yesterday, Tommy, like there's a lot of great Belfast boxers that have been through. Like, has anyone sort of, when you're younger, you looked up towards locally wise to help you drive forward towards that Olympics, towards that boxing career?
To be honest, like no one's ever inspired me, and no one's ever like I never looked up to anyone. Like that's not being like arrogant or disrespectful. Like I have no interest in really watching sport. It's just what it was. But I can remember like from early age, Like Dad bring me to watch like Brian McGee, Damien Kelly. I didn't really get to see Ian McGee fight. I watched Ian McGee on TV. So the TNT fighters, when I was growing up, I was always interested in what's the names because they're all from Belfast. You know what I mean? So it was good to get the same, and plus they're professionals. But as well, there was amateurs when I was younger that I loved going to watch. You get likes of Martin Lindsay and the Hamill brothers and a few other boxers from like the north. I would go and watch in the Ulster Senior Championships. So if you could say, did I look up to anyone? Not really, but I look forward to watching those kind of fighters.
I see what they're achieving and seeing it's realistic for you to achieve then.
Of course, because the Ulster Seniors, it was in the Ulster Hall, and like that was a massive platform, a massive big arena for boxing, and every boxer in Ulster wanted to fight in finals night in the Ulster Hall. So everyone used to be packed out, everyone watched it. So for me, it was a dream of mine to fight there in the finals.
Yeah,
it's happened on a number of occasions now. So I'm lucky if that box ticked. But I think for every boxer in Ulster when they're younger, that's their dream.
That's the dream, yeah. And like I was reading about your record, like I think it was your first 12 fights you lost, and then
well,
what motivated you then to keep going? Like, because most people like at that age losing even 3 fights to go, it's not for me, and go back to football or hurling, whatever. But like, what drove you on to go keep going? Let's just get something more.
Like, see, really, when people say, "Oh, you lost 12 fights," what motivated you to go? But like, I was quite young. I wasn't training properly, and like there were close fights. I think it hammered, but like I trained as hard as I could.
Yeah.
But like, I don't really know what motivated me. Like, but I remember like once I got my first win, like the feeling was unbelievable, and you could say, hey, somewhat I came addicted to that feeling. So I kept trying my best, trying hard to win again. So I kept craving that feeling of winning, and like it just even to this day I crave it. That's why I think people and like elite sport, like they're always on a slippery slope because I think in their heads like they've an addictive personality because they're always getting that high of like winning stuff, and like if they lose a big competition, like you mightn't see it, but they're really down. So like I think that's what I'm saying. I think like a high elite sportsmen, they're always mentally, in my opinion, on a slippery slope because of that addictiveness, and craving success all the time, and they don't get it. God knows what could happen to their minds.
Because you can't describe that feeling in a referee lifting your hand after all the hard work put into place. Because it isn't just the one the night; it's the weeks and weeks and months and years to get your hand raised, and you can't buy it.
Yeah, like it's easy saying fighting's easy. It's not really, but it's easier than the hard camps and the solid diet and all, and traveling all around the world. That's the real tough stuff that the people don't see. The fighting's the end product, but everyone wants to see. But as you say, it is as hard as the grueling training regime you put your body through.
Yeah, and like we mentioned there at the start, like, but the Beijing Olympics, you haven't just been to one Olympics, you've been to a few Olympics. Which Olympics sort of come out in your head that's started the most? Like, say, not just the fighting or the medal, just the whole build up, the experience being there, and especially the crack being there. Like, what was the one that stands out to you the most memorable?
They've each got their own place. Suppose Beijing for like the infrastructure and all, the buildings and all, unbelievable. Like, and the Chinese people were just great people and very, very friendly. No, can't fault China one bit. It was unbelievable. London was the same, unreal. Loved every minute of it. And plus, it was only like 2 hours away in the plane.
Yeah.
And London was great. Even like the apartments all were staying in, everything was just so good about it. The only thing I liked about Rio was the fact that I got to carry the flag in the opening ceremony. because like I've been to I've been to the third Olympics, but I've also been to the Commonwealth Games, which is kind of same format, village based. But Rio was absolutely terrible. Like taking boxing aside and my performance aside and me losing to the side, the village wasn't even finished yet. The food was disgusting, and you know, if you want to talk about boxing, the way boxing was ran, but it was corrupt. People get sent home, judges get sent home from it. So, like Rio, probably the worst experience of my life. And plus, I got 2 phones stolen as well.
Right.
Pickpockets.
Pickpockets. Whoa. So, like, it's especially Olympics meant to be the pinnacle of everything, and they didn't even do it half right.
The village, the village was absolutely terrible. And 2 weeks after that, or we got that, was the Olympic Games. So obviously there would have been like disabled stuff now.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even ready for them either.
Man, because I thought you would have said like London Olympics, because there was so many more of your like say your friends competing, and especially it was more like say Irish people in the crowd cheering, and sure the atmosphere was totally different than China.
Yeah, it was different, but in China, when I fought the Chinese guys, you know what I mean, in the semi-finals, it was because he's a superstar over there.
Yeah.
Like there was 13,000. Like most of them were school kids, but had like buttons, banging the buttons. The noise was incredible, but the atmosphere was just burning dirty. So it was,
deadly.
And obviously, when I fought him again, atmosphere is incredible there too.
Oh, I love that, because we were chatting about boxers before, about the difference between the amateur game and the professional game. Like after Rio, you shortly went into the pro game, and did you find like there's like my background is not boxing, but I watch a bit of it, and a lot of boxers say that amateur boxing is totally different fighting than the pro game. How did you find that transition over to the pro game?
Well, it's a totally different sport. It's like if you describe it, it's like horse racing. So like amateur boxing could be like the flats,
okay,
and pro boxing could be the jumps,
right,
longer distance.
Yeah,
That's it's black and white basically. It's scored the same way in some ways, but the gloves and the state of fighting is a lot different. Amateur boxing, you're scoring fast punches. They get to catch judge's eye and they can control. Pro boxing, you're out there with the sole intention of, okay, there's some boxing involved in it, but to KO someone, like just to be as brutal as you can, because professional boxing, it's hard to call it a sport,
right,
because it's a business.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you could be shit at boxing, but see if you have your personality and speak well, like people will buy into you, people will go along and watch you. You know what I mean? So I think like personality can outweigh talent in some cases. But for me, when I'm on pro, I actually remember having a discussion with, which is now NTK, was MGM at the time, about going pro before Rio. And I thought, you know what, Rio would be my last games anyway. I would like to try something new. And I had a discussion with him. And I said, but if I go pro, I don't know if I'll use journeyman, like, because people fight journeyman as well. Obviously, to learn the game. But people fight them to build up a kind of a name for themselves. You know what I mean? But I felt in Ireland, which I knew I already had a following, so I didn't really need to build up a profile. I felt through the WSB and all too that I'd be ready to be fast tracked, and I was fast tracked. I anyone else from Ireland or UK that has fought for a title in their third fight, and then their fifth fight, and then a world title in the sixth fight. I don't know anyone else who's ever done that there.
No.
And people always ask me, do I regret rushing it? Absolutely not. If I was to start over again, I would do the exact same thing, because like you think in Belfast alone, like there's loads of world champions. And like I've created so much history as an amateur. Like I don't want to be just another world champion. Pro. Like I'm not probably he was world champion. I wanted to be the quickest world champion, so I want to step away from everyone else. So create history as an amateur, and I want to create history as a pro. Like, that's the reason for that. And listen, it didn't work out, but who cares? At least it's tried.
Yeah, especially you said like they didn't want to go back to the start. Like you build your career through the amateur, so you had to jump in at a higher level. Be pointless going
Yeah,
at the start.
no point. You're fighting journeymen who are like people need to realize like people like you get pros 9 in Ireland and UK, like not people like journeymen like think they're Muhammad Ali, but these people are basically getting paid to lose.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So like, people are such and such a classy as knockout. So fuck, he's fighting some agent who's paid to lose basically.
yeah.
Like people need to grasp that concept that you mightn't be as good as you think you are because like you're fighting absolute idiots or people who may be good but they're journeymen. They're getting paid to last round of you. So I think the kind of message I'm saying is to people, just don't be getting ahead of yourselves.
I just remember your feet where you are. Look around.
Of course, remember who you are. Remember who you're fighting, who you have fought. I remember, and just assess your own abilities. As well. Like it may seem a bit harsh, but like there's people or a lot of pros, who do set targets very high for themselves, and like they're very unrealistic. I think there are certain boxers who would target European title or Irish title or British title, which is brilliant. I think people should do that before they target a world title because people look too far ahead. But yeah,
That happens too much.
that's what goes wrong.
Like especially like Conor McGregor and all there, he showed in the UFC what he could do, and then you have MMA guys saying, "I want the headline Vegas," but you only fought twice, so they don't really have to build a game up. And you're saying create your fans. Where if me, for example, if I had 5,000 fans that would follow me to a boxing fight, I could turn pro tomorrow and sell it out because of that reason. I might be more screwed. I might lose in the first round, but all they want is making money pay-per-view. Like Mike Tyson fought last week exhibition. It was great and all, but it's because it's his name. You'll watch it, and he could sell it 10 times over again. So
of course, that's why professional boxing is the sport, obviously, but more so it's the entertainment business.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is. I mean, people think, Mayweather fighting your man Jake Paul over. Again, it's entertainment business, so you have no reason to cry about it because if you're going to cry about it that much, you cry about the ridiculous amount of titles there is.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So, you know what I mean?
Even though
at least
you watch it like
Jake Paul sport of boxing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and it built a name. And like on with the boxing, like the Olympics and all, you're always known as like a sort of a mess or like having the crack. Is that the West Belfast thing in you, or just the way it is?
At the crack there, I'm not from West Belfast, North Belfast.
You're North Belfast, I thought you're West Belfast.
No.
No.
I'm not a Westie.
Oh, you're not West, you're Westie for some reason. So it was so it isn't the West Belfast thing. So what is it then?
No. It's what people will come across. People say like I'm a messer, and sometimes controversial. But see, I can't remember who said this to, but people say, "I probably you're mad now, Twitter and all that there." But the name lose me here. Like I have never once said a false statement in my life on Twitter. So if anyone ever wants to bring it to me or whatever I said, nothing I said I do say is false.
Yeah.
I do give my opinion on some stuff, but I never state facts. Dan's not laughing.
He's laughing at you.
Go ahead.
Because I remember like sort of like seeing like let's take a picture of you and Anthony Joshua and different things like looking up like monster of a man.
What that is, I always like I single out heavyweights just correctly.
Yeah.
People get the picture of Anthony Joshua. I want to stand face to face though because I'm small, all massive. Because I have a picture of Joshua, Fury, Tony Oka from France. You call him Chisora, David Price.
Yeah, Derek Sora.
All big lads, face to face, so it's good.
I'm sure it's because it's funny like to see like they are like big men like, like especially seeing their heavyweights. And like I was seeing on your Twitter there, you're doing a lot of like sort of 1-to-1 training now train with an Olympian. You tell our listeners about that, so they might be interested in getting in contact with you.
So during lockdown, I was thinking about opening the gym, and I still am in the process of a business plan together in the gym in maybe Belfast. But in the meantime, everywhere's locked down. Those gyms are opening on and off. So I thought, I would go ahead and offer my services. But going to people's houses and train them in their house, so they didn't leave the house. That's by Paddy box, you call it. Just name it randomly. So what it is, I go to the house, I had the bag, and everything was needed for the session. There's not a great deal of space needed. We'll do the session, it lasts about an hour or so, and people love it. I have no real spare time at all now because I'm booked out that much. And I train a team. Actually, I train a team in Monaghan for Oshie McConville. So they love that too. I train twice a week down there, which is great too.
Because I live in Silver Bridge, which is the neighbour town of Crosswood Lane, so we know Oshie, so not that far away. And like you said, Paddy Box, you also have a Paddy Cast.
It's my podcast. I have great guests on. I didn't have one last week there. My Wi-Fi went off.
Right.
Mid podcast. I had Tyson Jonas, who fought Katie Taylor in Olympics. So I'll get her on again maybe tonight or tomorrow for this weekend. Awesome. But I've had some great guests like Shane Laurie and Darren Till, Carl Frampton,
Paddy Keelty.
And Packy Lee. So it is about sports people, but I will get people from different walks of life.
Yeah.
In special episodes.
Oh, perfect. No, I won't keep much longer, Paddy, but I can't not mention it. I can see in the background all your awards and your belts and all. Like, what stands out to you? Like, sort of your achievement that's you go to wall. That's me. That's my achievement. I know they all are special, but there's always one that stands out the most. What would that be?
To be honest, like Olympic medals and all, and the Commonwealth Games medals look nice, but the one I'm most proud of is my European gold from 2010. Now the medal looks like something you buy a lucky bag, but it's because like back then, people from Western Europe were never getting medals at the Europeans because it's always the Soviet countries. It's hard to get a look at. And for me to go over in Russia, and when to go over there was for me definitely my best achievement.
That's awesome, And would you ever come out of retirement again, or is it done and dusted?
Well, I would definitely come out of retirement to some YouTube star want to fight me, or some reality TV star want to fight me. For a bit of money.
The Legends League could look you. You never know.
That seems to be the case now. You know what I mean? So
there's a boy in Belfast with Shane Todd.
Imagine like Brand Herbert or something wanting to fight me. No problem.
Brilliant.
Or Micheál Martin or Leo Frogger. That's it.
You're just naming all assholes now, CR.
You said that, not me.
Oh, well, I had to, someone had to say it. No, that's brilliant. So how could our listeners get involved, listen to you and find out more information? So you mentioned the Paddycast. Is only on YouTube, is it?
The Paddycast is solely on YouTube at the minute. And to be honest, I just know how to, not really computer savvy, but I'm going to try and get it out on all different platforms.
You need a hand, give me a shout. I can there's a simple way of doing it. I can chat to you afterwards if you want to.
To be honest, I actually know how to do it, but I just stand around and do it. Because I have a fella from Uri, Ollie McKenzie, who helped me pull my graphics snap there.
Yeah.
So he did a massive help. He edited for me. Which I couldn't do it myself, like, so he's a great asset behind Paddycast as well.
Brilliant. So the Paddycast on YouTube, and then your Instagram is Paddy _Bronze, am I right?
Paddy _Bronze for Instagram. So make sure you go on and follow me. Even if you don't like me, just follow me anyway. No,
I have a good story before you finish. I think I went to university in Jordanstown, and I was living in Belfast. I was 18. I think it was 2008. You were just back from the Olympics, and I was walking down the street past Castle Court, and you're coming towards me. And like, because it's after Olympics and all, I'm a big martial art fan, I was like, holy shit, there's Paddy Barnes. And I was like, sort of like, wow. Like, and coming towards me, and I goes, "Well, Paddy," and I just went, "What do you want?" and walked on.
Yeah, you did it, right?
You did, and I was like, "What? I was only going to say hello to you." So it's so God knows. I know what Belfast is like sometimes. So God knows who you thought it was. But it was on me. It was on my own.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll probably in a bomb or something.
so hopefully next time I see you in Belfast, I'll be able to say hello to you proper.
Yeah, 100%. I won't say, what do you want this?
It's something I never forget, because like I met Usain Bolt before as well, and same thing happened too. I asked him, I actually seen him in Manchester, asked for a photograph, and he goes, no chance. And then 2 minutes later, there was a queue, a mile long, photograph. No one knew who he was.
See, that's why.
He was the same age.
That's why you don't know.
Yeah, he was the same year as well.
If you get a photo of him and then people see it there and like, oh, let's get him.
Destroyed. So he got destroyed afterwards. He said,
that was the case. That was the case between me and you, because I'm the one, so no one Belfast will put me.
I thought it was a bit. I go, oh my God, there's Paddy Barnes. Like I'm only in Belfast maybe 2 months in university, and I'm going, look who I met downtown today. So something I'll never forget, but sure.
What do you mean? What I want? You fucking midget? I want a picture.
I had to wait I was only 2 months in Belfast in big stick, so I was kind of lost. So I was. Better crack.
Brilliant.
Thanks very much, Paddy. And sure. Oh yeah, before I go, I also asked my guests, because it's called the One Hit Podcast. We also asked a guest, what was the best one hit you've seen, either in person or TV or YouTube video? It doesn't have to be boxing. It could be the best rugby tackle, the best golf swing, the best free kick, the best knockout, the best kick. Is the best one hit that comes to your head that you've seen?
Well, I'm going to say 2, and the reason why, because the first one, I can't remember who it was. You might know because if you watch UFC, but it could be in Bellator. There was a black guy fighting recently, and he done like a overhead back kick and knocked the fellow out.
I've seen that, the bicycle kick. Yes, it was in Bellator. Yes, it was like a soccer
that was ridiculous, and probably Paddy McCrory, a boxer from Belfast, not a journeyman, but the way he knocked him out, I thought the fellow was dead.
Right.
But thankfully didn't die, but it was some punch.
Brilliant. No, that's brilliant.
Sorry.
It's brilliant. So that's the best one hit. So, it's been a pleasure, Paddy. Thanks very much. It's been a long time waiting for you to come on, but I'm really appreciate you did come on. So thank you very much again.
No problem at all.
Cheers, Paddy. Cheers.
No problem. It's easy.
Tango file.
Slant.
I am the greatest.
Be water, my friend.